Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, guys, this is weird because I can't see anything until I share my screen. So I guess I'm just talking to me, which is fine. When I first realized that my call day was the day after the weekend of leadership, I was like, oh, I'll have plenty of content to share. That'll be good. And then I realized, holy moly, there's a ton of content to share. As I was sifting through today, I'm like, how will I get 10 hours into 40 minutes? And then it's like, this is either going to be the most riveting information-loaded call or you'll be asleep by 8:10. I don't know. We'll see. But I plan to really just kind of take you through how they took us through leadership and, casting that vision and getting us excited about what's to come and just harnessing the momentum and talking about the power of duplication. All the things that just go, we're onto something so good here. So I'm going to start out by just briefly going through our new releases because your coach has brought you on, has probably talked about this. Some stuff was mentioned on the NWC today, but I just want to be able for you to see those visuals that we saw to where you can start to, get excited about the same thing. So I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. Oh, and I'm this will be fun. Watch this. I'm in the middle of, let's see, can you see me? Oops, well, tech Lindsay here. Okay, wow. Close your eyes. Okay, so the recap. All right, so we know the Shift Shop Proving Grounds is coming out October 22nd to November 18th. This is the exclusive coach test group is open to any coach who buys or sells a Shift Shop bundle between October 1st and November 7th. You guys realize that exclusive coach test groups are the kind of new thing that we're doing to harness the excitement of each launch and to bring new people on who can get excited about the coaching opportunity and the new program at the same time. Then we have Transform 20. This launches December 4th. The bundles are on sale. You get the free sample workout, 2 prep workouts, 2 instructional videos. You get access to an exclusive coach test group starts January 14th, and it's in the BOD library April 1st for all the rest. All right, a little more obsessed tomorrow. Okay, you guys know that this was a prerequisite to kind of get people on our HD. That was a prerequisite to get access to a little more obsessed. I've already had people reaching out today saying, how do I get a little more obsessed? It's like, girl, you got to order your HD today because that was the cutoff according to the FAQ. So you may have some work to do after this call. All right, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but we have the Ultimate Portion Fix coming out. It launches March 4th. And the way that they talk to us about this is it's a one system, 3 powerful principles, portion control, balanced macronutrients, and elimination or reduction of processed foods. So they called it the problem solver. Learn how to beat the sugar addiction, which we all know the world struggles with, especially here in the US. Help your family while you help yourself. Learn how to eat for performance. And here on this slide, you'll see Fixate 2. I don't know if you guys know that. Fixate Volume 2 has come out with tons more amazing recipes. There's going to be the expanded nutrition app, and apparently her ebook that I didn't even know about is now going to be included in this Ultimate Portion Fix with over 75 healthy lunch ideas for kids. That's probably the most Googled thing in my house, just because I want to keep it fresh and creative and not just send cucumbers and tomatoes in my kids' lunches every day. So that was really exciting to see. And she mentioned that if people had already purchased that ebook, that she would send them an email explaining something. So if you have that kind of question. Also, something that Autumn really seemed excited about was this Beachbody tote bag. She didn't get to go into much detail about it, but I know that bags are incentives, and that looks super cool. It looks like one of the little coolers that I think people are really going to want, and that's going to be a big, easy sell. All right. Also, the Portion Fix certification is available at launch. So Carl said something today, and the other day, and I'm going to talk more about it. But He wants us to be a certified, well-trained network of coaches. So you're going to see these certifications popping up with the launches, which I think is brilliant, because coaches feel best when they're confident in something, and just being confident in knowledge of the product gives people more ammunition to launch it and talk about it, and they feel safe and comfortable with it. So I think it's really cool that they're giving us these options of certification. I don't know if you heard, but they're also going to kind of relaunch the 21-Day Fix and 21-Day Fix Extreme as live streams, kind of how they did 8-Day Obsession and Live For in real time recordings of the videos and of the workouts. And she mentioned just being able to like dive deeper into different moves and different aspects of the program. So again, that gives everyone a chance to be in the coach test group again with the program that quite literally just transformed our business back in, I think, 2014 when it originally came out. So I think just kind of like revamping things that we already have and we know that work, I think that's kind of brilliant. So we're excited to see how that goes. What does it say? First drive to get into coach test group starts April 1st, and the second drive into the extreme is April 29th. Also, did you guys see Fruit Punch Energize? Amazing. I know a lot of people are going to go crazy over that. Energize is probably one of the fan favorites, and now it's in a different flavor, so options are fun. Coming February 2019, in the tub and the stick packs, and also we got the stick packs and the regular lemon flavor. And we have a major new fitness program launching at Summit, which is exciting, and this was kind of just glazed over. It's like, what? This is huge. New nutrition product coming at Summit, but also a new international market. Like, I mean, that's crazy. I was like, what? Tell me more about that. So I can't wait. But it's fun to have things on cue that you can be excited about and get pumped for. And what I kind of wanted to include this slide because it's like, that is so much information. Like, what do we do with all that? We see how they make this little timeline for us and have everything plugged into where it comes out. I love that. And I think that was actually one of the themes of leadership, was forecasting and learning how to strategize and have market plans. So I know when you see all these launches coming out, your brain starts to like fly around, but they've included a lot of information on how to harness these launches and how to strategically market them and place them on the calendar. So don't get overwhelmed with it. Get excited about it. A lot of that feels the same. And you'll see the top secret here on the timeline. Okay, so lots of exciting things to get excited for and prepared for. Carl Daikeler, actually, he opened us up this year at Leadership, which is kind of different because you know how Michael and Jeff usually come out and they do a little skit and Jeff says meaningful things and then they bring Carl out. Well, Carl just came out, and I love that because he is the ultimate vision caster. He showed up. He just started talking about the things that we need to hear, about the numbers, about duplication. He talked about wanting to be global presence. That's talking about magnitude that he's vision casting for us. He wants a network, and I told you this, of certified coaches, being the most influential health and fitness business in the world. These are this man's plans, and that just gets you as a coach in the network super excited about possibility and potential. He wants coaching opportunity to be the most reliable source of income for the part-time stay-at-home mom. That's kind of fun, right? So out of, let's just say, 350,000 coaches, about 200,000 coaches are active, and only 22,000 coaches a month are enrolling coaches. And if you can't see me, those are air quotes, enrolling coaches. Not saying they are enrolling coaches, but they are considered enrolling coaches because they're getting at least one success skill point a month, either in a coach or customer sell. So he wants that number to go to 40 to 50,000 coaches a month. And when doing that, you just think about the volume that comes in and then the coach commissions that come from it. That is the power of duplication. And if you're not thinking about that as a team builder, then I urge you to start now, because the power of duplication is really what the team building part of this business, the incredible part of this business is all about. So we want to be thinking about doubling our numbers. The people that you have now, if they lend to a certain amount of team volume, what does that become when you double it? We want everyone to be thinking about bringing on at least one coach every single month. And when you bring on 5 coaches, that bring on 5 coaches, and then those 10 bring on each a coach, and that's 10, you can just see how the duplication happens. And that's really what we need to be thinking about. So I love how Carl cast that vision. This is excited. He says the biggest tree is only supported by the strongest roots. And I think a solid foundation of coaches is the root system that we need for an amazing team. Okay, so he says by the end of the year, we were forecasted, we are projected to go $100 million past what we were forecasted, which equates to about $45 million in additional coach commissions. And that is largely due to the new e-commerce system that we have and all of the incredible launches. So the launches matter, and they are strategically put there to help us through different seasons in business and to keep us excited and engaged. So again, I just want to drive that point home, is not to get too overwhelmed by the idea of all these things coming out, but learning how to harness them and driving the volume up and driving the numbers of people that we bring in up. And all of this, guys, creates that momentum. Committed to creating the momentum by helping people get results. We'll reach out to the 200,000 active coaches that we already have in our network just to try to get that enrolling number up. Re-engage those people that are already here. Remember, our momentum now is our growth next year. Everything is pretty much pushed out at 3 months. What we're doing now is we'll see the results of it in 3 months' time. So you know how it's the holidays and we want to slow down. We really need to be thinking about next year and kind of drive this year home hard. And that's kind of exciting when you get to think about what the harvest is going to be next year, and more momentum being a brand new year. So we got to just keep that momentum up by using what we have in our arsenal and all of these launches and opportunities. So it's kind of exciting. So the help the 350,000 coaches who are still figuring out this business to have the confidence and tactics to achieve Success Club. All right, so Kim Carver, the brain behind many, many things, he came on and his whole idea was, let's simplify some things. And when he said that, of course, my very simple-minded mind is like, yes, please, because, it's just the longer we've been a network, a thriving network, the more information that has come into our lives, into our business, into the coup, right? Information overload. And it oftentimes becomes pretty paralyzing, especially when you're brand new and you think that you need all the information in order to have confidence, in order to be amazing. And that, to me, isn't always the truth. And in fact, if I would have received all the information that's out there when I first became a coach, I don't know how much I would have done with it, because it can be a lot. So as leaders in this business, I think we just want to make sure that we simplify what we're teaching our team when they come on. And I'm really excited about this new system that they have in place, where Kim was basically like, instead of focusing on 5 plays, we're going to focus on 2 plays. And I just really think that this was very much needed. So I'm really excited to talk a little bit about it. I don't know much about it yet, but I just, again, casting that vision for you, just letting you know there are things in the works for your favor. Okay, so the 4 vital behaviors of coaching have changed. Again, this is like one of those things I'm like, whoa, that's kind of huge. Let's talk about that some more. But it's fun. You'll notice that invite has been rightfully changed, in my opinion, to connect, invite, and follow up, which is much more a better representation of what we're called to do. We make that initial connection. We perhaps build a relationship there, find out a little bit about them. We invite them, and then we follow up with them. And you'll see that recognition has been replaced with get people results. Now, there is a form, if you will, that kind of dives into each of these and what they mean as far as like getting people results and how the connect, invite, follow-up works. And that's going to be part of the new Success Club system. All right, so here we go. Get people results. We're reinforcing the importance of delivering on our mission. While inviting someone to start is critical, it is just the start. Helping them stick with their commitment so they get results and maintain those results is how our mission is realized. You get yourself results, you get your customer results, and you get your coaches results. And that, I think, is a big, big, big part of what we do in order to, keep people engaged and sticking around and going for more. And then greater clarity on the inviting process and more prescriptive approach to acquisition-related activities. Now, that's definitely Kim's language, right? The Success Club system, it outlines the consistent activities to grow a follower base, build those connections, and invite them to join a challenge group and then become a coach. So let's take a look at that. It looks much like your business activity tracker, though I think things are more tailored to this new set of vital behaviors that we have now. And the opportunity for 5-star and above coaches is there to test this out on their own business and a couple of new part-time coaches. So we'll see how this fares. So we'll see how it's different and what results that it gets. So I'm expecting great things as always. And I'm really glad that this was refined and refreshed and given back to us. He says, the greatest factor in sustained success for a coach is the expenditure of consistent and focused energy. Consistent and focused energy. Kind of like think about a lot of things going on, a lot of different things that you're doing, flashlight, or a few pivotal things that you're doing. Think of it like a laser. And that's really how we want to get with our business. Laser focused on the things that matter most in a consistent manner. And then that's when you're going to see the greatest success. All right, so I decided to share, I could not share all of the speaker's information, but I did choose to share this one because it's one of those things that's like, whoa, how do I deal with all of these different things coming at me all the time in business, all these new launches? And there's people that are designed and created for consistency and what is the word when you're put together? Organized. Y'all, I'm literally brain dead from all the travel and leadership. But when people aren't naturally organized, you need to see, what does it look like when a coach who is really inclined to be able to do these things, what does that even look like? So Ashley Loughlin came on and shared how she leverages the company's business plan and really harnesses all the launches. So she says that she capitalizes on every new launch, never skip a new program or product. And I know that that can be a little overwhelming when you think about it, but perhaps you don't have to do the launch the time it comes out. Maybe it doesn't fit in exactly with the way you're already going, but you may want to get to it, in the next month or two. But just to be able to say, I know that, I've done that, I can connect you to that. And the way she becomes familiar with the program, because personally, this was always something that I struggle with. It's like, how do I even learn all of this? How do I even take the time to learn all of this? But she does a few things, and you wouldn't have to do all of them, but maybe one or two. But she created a blog post for her potential clients with all the details and packages. That way she's forced to kind of read through the FAQ and read through the launch details and the product details and how much it costs and when it's available, all those things that seem like a lot of information if you're getting them one piece at a time. But if you just took the time to sit down with the FAQ and familiarize yourself with the product, again, it builds that confidence and you're more apt to talk about something that you know about. So she creates a Google Drive folder with transformation photos, prices, and resources from the back office to share with her team. Again, very leadership role there. She's taking that initiative to create those things to where she can provide them for her team. And she sends a newsletter to her contact list with the details on the new launch. Again, just saying, hey, this is what's happening. This may be something that interests you, and just opening herself up for more volume and sales wrapped around that launch. She hosts an exclusive coach-only group. This is so we can all have a different transformation with each product. That's important for when you're talking about it. You want to show that it works. And the more people from your team that have done it, the more transformations you have, which you can share. And we know how that is with a launch. You need to have some of those things to show. All right, so here, I wanted you guys to be able to see this so you just have an idea of how people are thinking, okay? So we're talking about a little obsessed, and then 80-day obsession here in January. And then this was this past year, Lift 4 came out, and then Shift Shop in October, and then Transform 20 from December to January. So you just kind of like helicopter up, if the way Jeff says it, or a bird's eye view of what is this year going to look like? How am I going to place these different things into my calendar year to where we can be proactive versus reactive? And again, y'all, I'm talking about this because this is me. I've been a reactive coach, and I want to become a proactive coach and actually treat it like a professional. So at leadership, seeing these things was very helpful and eye-opening to me. It's like, oh, that's how they do it. All right. And it makes me think, all right, I can do that too. The monthly inviting plan, you'll see that this was the past month, and how you're thinking, start promoting pumpkin spice now. She's got fit clubs on there. That's amazing that she's still doing fit clubs. I like that. Team calls are on there. Get started right. Lift 4 challenge group starts on the 10th. Pumpkin spice launch. So she had a good 2 weeks of talking about pumpkin spice before the launch. How many people just waited for a few days before? That's, a marketing plan. That's something that people leverage in this business, which is awesome. So you'll see that she has just different team calls on there, and challenge group start dates, get starting right calls. And then a weekly posting plan or marketing plan. Talk about challenge groups on Sunday, coaching on Monday, transformation picture on Tuesday, challenge group on Wednesday, because people just saw that transformation yesterday, and now challenge group, and then coaching. So that's 3 coaching. There are probably some jabs and some right hooks in there, but you can look at this and ask yourself, am I talking about coaching 3 times a week? And, this is not to make you feel bad, but it's just to say, okay, well, I can see where I can grow here. All right. I had to include Danielle Natoni's. She has a way of giving tough love in the most amazing way. And you don't hate her at the end. You really, really like her. But she addressed some really tough parts of, coaching and leadership, because I believe we all have people on our team, coaches on our team, that I'm doing it all, or this isn't working for me. I don't understand what to do. And, you can say those 2 things in 2 totally different ways. And the way she was saying is like, you've got I can't remember the exact terminology she used, but like a negative coach and a hopeful coach, like a coach that's like, blame and not taking ownership and kind of rooted in negativity. And then you have the other coach that's like, I see that there's a problem. I want to fix this. What can I do? So I love how she presented. It's pretty incredible. I'll go ahead and get right to it. So these are some excuses that we might hear from our team or ourselves. Because let's be honest, we are all human here and we all struggle. And I take 1,000% ownership in the fact that I still have excuses. So let's look at some. I don't know what to do or where to begin. I don't have enough time. I lack self-confidence. It's harder than I thought it was going to be. I need more training. If I could just set that little quote on fire and stomp it out and never see it again, I'd be so happy. I have tried everything. Okay, so who's had someone say this to them? Who has said it themselves? Danielle did something really, really awesome, and she made a checklist. She set it up kind of like taking a quiz in a magazine, where how many yeses did you get right? How many no's did you get right? And in each, if you got 1 to 5 yeses right, then this is you, and this is how we can help you. I didn't include those because I wanted you to be able to talk to your coach about that. So the person that brought you onto this team has the results, and they'll be able to, delegate that however they want or dish that out to you however they want. But I did include the questions. And just before I got on the call, I saw that someone took these questions and made them into printout. So I'm sure that will start floating around within your team page. But let's just look at some of these questions, and you can ask yourself honestly, am I doing these things? Are you being proof that the products work? Is your status still active? It is amazing when people say that they want to be part of a training group and then they're not even active. But, they don't know until they know. So one of the big parts of being, a enrolling coach, a building coach, a business coach is having an HD product arriving at your house. And someone may not even realize that that's the case, but you have these questions that you didn't create that will be very helpful. Are you currently receiving a monthly subscription product? Have you completed a program from start to finish this year? That one's huge, guys. I finished my first program this year with Live 4, and that is the first one that I have completed since 2012. And I'm just telling you honestly, because that I think people need to hear. This isn't to tear you down. This is to say, look, this is how we can get better. Okay, so I'm saying number 4, last year I would not even been able to say yes to that. And I expect to be a business building coach, right? So we got to take ownership. Do you listen to the National Wake Up Call each week, either live or the recording? I would beg to say that your team call and that NWC call are the only 2 team calls you probably need to be on each week, and then maybe a podcast to supplement, because you don't want to be getting so much information that you're not taking action. Okay, I call that getting fat on knowledge, lean on action. We have to do more. And I said today to my team, belief and passion will trump information and skill any day in this business. Now, some of the leaders on here may not agree with that, but I think that is true, because that's kind of how I've done this, how I've fumbled through this. I've just been super passionate about what I'm talking about and maybe didn't know everything right away. But my personality type didn't want to know everything. I just wanted to take massive imperfect action. But, that's teach their own. Do you get on your team calls? Are you registered for Summit? Y'all, that one is like, you just don't miss it kind of thing. You just got to get there kind of thing. It really is one of those, marriage to the business. That's part of it. That's one of the commitments that we make. Planning or attending Super Saturdays. That's another one. I know that they can become, interior. You go 3, maybe 4 times a year. Do I really need to go to this? And the answer is yes, because events are important and they are strategically placed for you to go and plug back in and be surrounded by other people. Start dreaming big again. Taking one nugget. That's all we look for, is for someone to take one thing away that they can go home and implement, or that inspired them. It doesn't have to be a home run every time. Just go to expect to get one thing. Can you verbalize why you want to be a coach, sign a coach, get results with your program? This one is where I heavily lean into with my team. Why are you even a coach anyway? Why did you become a coach? The answer to that should be the confidence in posting and inviting. It should be the answer to why. But when people don't have a crystal clear, intact why, they lack the confidence to go out and share boldly and passionately and proudly. If you need help, talk that out with somebody. But we'll get to that because it'll be part of your story. Are you showing up daily on social media in some way? And the whole thing with social media, you want to entertain, educate, or inspire. Okay. And not everything has to be, thought out and mechanical, but just, can you take an overview of your social media and say, did I make anyone laugh today? Did I give any value today? Did I educate? Did I inspire? The easiest way to inspire on social media, honestly, is to take something that you read or heard in your personal development. That is the way I built in 2012. I shared things from I wasn't full of wisdom like everyone thought. Like, I was sharing stuff that I thought of when I was reading. So reading is one of the best ways to become inspired, honestly. Are you posting on purpose with strategy? That kind of piggybacks with the marketing plan. What is your intent? What are you inviting to right now? Did you hit Success Club last month? I think what we do is we give Success Club this meaning that's outside of what actually matters. A lot of times Success Club is a benchmark that did we hit, but we forget Success Club is actual commission. It's bringing in new people that could possibly change their life or become Beachbody advocates. Yes, it's part of our business plan, but like I said, it becomes interior sometimes. Attach a new meaning to Success Club, because I lost that last year. I lost that meaning, and it felt like this ego-driven thing to me. And when it became that, it became icky. And I had to really dial back into, what is Success Club to me anyway? And that's something that we have to do, reevaluate all the time. Why am I doing this? Why am I posting this? What is my end game here? Because that answer is going to be the reason that you're doing the daily things that can become monotonous. Is that it? Monotonous? Okay. For a second, y'all, I'm seriously delirious. I thought I said monogamy. Okay. Did you finish a personal development book program last month? Again, how many books do you start and how many do you finish? I'm a big believer in podcasts, because you really didn't have much to invest. You didn't have to hold anything. You didn't have to flip anything. You didn't have to use your eyeballs. You can hear. And I like to, if I'm going somewhere, I like to listen to the podcast once on the way there and once on the back. Because we got to hear things a few times for it to sink in. Did you successfully implement a tip, tool, or strategy from a recent training? That's awesome. You can implement something from your podcast. Are you actively engaged with everyone on your team? I think we could probably all use some work in that one. I would actually need to let that one sink in for a little bit and see, what does that even mean? Because, am I actively engaged with everyone on my team? But that's a great question to ask. Did you talk to anyone from your team today? And I will tell you, when my team was much smaller, the way I did that was I wrote down everybody's name of my PS coaches. And I did like one of those little, where they separate a few names from a list. And I pointed, and Monday. And then the next 5, Tuesday, and the next 5, Wednesday. So on Mondays, I checked on those people. On Tuesdays, I checked. And that was an easy way to make sure that I did at least speak to them. And it would be something, how can I help you this week? It doesn't have to be anything deep. Okay, our keynote speaker, Holy Hannah. Amazing. It was so crazy because I'm sorry, y'all, I'm so thirsty. We had a lot of themes of storytelling. We had Annie Neiman, Michael's niece, speak on storytelling. Our keynote speaker was storytelling. Our NWC today, storytelling. And I really appreciate that, because a big part of our business, network marketing business, is the power of telling a story. We need to be sharing videos, telling stories, and answering questions, in my mind. So how do you get this powerful story, right? How do you deliver a story that's compelling? She says it's not the magnitude of the story, it's the decision to tell the story. I love that. And then she said at some point, I just kind of wrote down a few of her quotes because she said a lot. We don't buy the thing, we buy the story of what the thing will do for us. And you've all heard facts tell, stories sell. She did us a huge favor by breaking it down on how to pinpoint your story, craft the story, and tell the story. So I did want to say, I meant to try this before I told you guys, but I completely forgot to try it. But write down, text the number 33444. And when you get the return message, you send back Beachbody story, one word. Then they'll ask for your email. And then when you get the email, she'll send you these slides. And I say that because you're eventually going to hear her. The video will come around and you'll want the slides. Now, I obviously got the slides because you see them here, but I didn't check to make sure that is still an active thing, but give it a shot. If not, you'll end up with the slides. I just didn't feel like I could give them out without you giving her your email, because that's what that is, an email collector. All right, so let's talk about strategic storytelling, shall we? All right, what a story is not. Okay, a story is not a list of results or features. Remember, facts tell, stories sell. A story is not well-placed emojis. Emojis don't draw your readers in. A story is not a photo, which is funny that she says that. She's a professional storytelling, because you know the adage, a picture's worth 1,000 words. And she says, no, the words are worth the words. A story is not a bullet point list. And the story is not big buzzwords and entrepreneurial jargon. And what she means by that is like, I'm so passionate about bringing light and love to the world. That's an exact quote from her. She says, if you want to get the point across about how coaching gives you more time with your family, think of a time when coaching provided that for you and share that story, or whatever your truth is, because not everyone is trying to get that point across. But think about a time that coaching changed your life and craft that story. What a story is, she says, a story happens in a particular moment. There's a beginning, middle, and end. There are emotions, not just information. And there are characters to care about and something at stake. She says that a story can happen in a particular moment. And the way I like to think of it is that's an experience. Think about an experience that you had and how can you have a story out of that. She did such a great job because she was actually kind of a last minute speaker due to some issues with the other speaker. And she came so well prepared, knowing so much about us and what we do in coaching. So she says she used so many examples and was able to, build stories around what we do. So she was like, think of a moment when you were in the dressing room and you had to keep asking for smaller sizes. That is an experience, a story that you can craft that just happens in a day. It doesn't have to be huge and compelling and sad. She says emotions don't have to be big. It can be curiosity. It doesn't have to be rooted in sadness, which is where I usually come from, but it can be curious. It can be exciting. It can be uplifting. Just think of different emotions that you can use to connect with people. Because remember, it's our story that people are buying into. And of course, stories about you and your childhood, or you and before Beachbody, and we'll get to that. But just kind of think about those videos that go viral and the stories that we see that make people cry. And it's, telling the story of, a homeless person and someone stopping and caring about them. And it just moves people. That's what we want to do. We want to move people to take action on their own life, not just to buy a challenge back from us or join our team, but people to take action on their own life. She says there's 3 types of stories you need. See, here she knows so much about us. Stories about the products and opportunity, stories to illustrate the lifestyle. And I think we're pretty good at those too, because they're like a big part of what we do. We share the products, we share the opportunity, we share our lifestyle. But this one I really love. This is stories to lead your team. It's like, what does she mean by that? Stories to engage your team, motivate your team, teach them to help believe in themselves. I often use stories of me growing up in this business, things that I struggled with, things where I can absolutely relate. And when people come to me with an issue, I affirm them and say, I 1000% get it. I was there. I struggled there. I did that, and you tell that story, and a story needs to kind of end with an overcoming, at least idea. It may have not have happened yet, but at least the idea that you're going to overcome, or the intent to overcome. So that's where, when you tell a story, and she says you need a beginning, middle, and end, you really do need to end with something that inspires people or gives people hope, right? All right, so finding the story. I love this one because this is so applicable, things that we can actually use. Make a list of first, okay? First are emotionally charged moments, paychecks, weight loss, first big team milestone, anything that first happened and you're like, I can't believe it, or this was so amazing, this is what I've been waiting for. Take advantage of those first. She says, make a list of customers and team members. She says, just writing down the names of people helps bring back stories you can tell to illustrate your message. And something, I studied the craft of network marketing, not going to lie. I love the business model behind it. And it really is a business of sharing stories. That is what it is. So when you've got a potential coach and you see where they are in their life, the best thing that you can do is find someone on your team who is kind of similarly where they were and share their story with them. This is where she started, and this is what happened. I did that a lot with Scotty Hobbs, who, in the very beginning, that massive story of having to sell just something out of his house on eBay in order to pay the $40 to sign up, not even with product. That story moved so many people in a similar place to action, because look what he became. So think about how you can give stories from the existing people on your team and network to others. Make a list of their biggest challenges, like time management. She used that as an example. Time management is a big challenge. Give stories of how so-and-so managed their time. Stay-at-home mom of 4, or full-time working coach with 2 kids. How did they maneuver this? The story of the one who got away. I loved her story about that, because she actually, alluded to the fact that she was building a business like ours before her speaking gig. And, she shared a story of how she didn't ask someone soon enough. And how many of us have that same scenario where we didn't ask somebody and somebody else did, and guess what? They joined their team. So I always tell my team, if you don't ask them, somebody will, and I hope it's not me, because you don't want to be that person that took your team's prospects, but you got to be bold and ask. And that goes back to confidence and goes back to belief. When you really believe in what you're offering, you'll invite, because you're doing them a favor, right? We don't ask for favors. We're not doing favors. We give favors. We're doing someone a favor, right? When someone said you couldn't, but you did anyway, a story of triumph, of proving them wrong. Can you think of any? I'd have to think hard on that one, but that would be pretty inspiring, right? And make note of everyday moments. Remember, it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be compelling, but just an everyday moment where something happened that could help someone else either have an epiphany or an aha moment, and share that. I know right after